Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Droid Life Show episode 99. We're so close to 100. It's December 18th. I'm your host, Kellen. With me is Tim. Tim, say hi.
Hey guys, how's it going? Tim here.
So, we've been off for a couple weeks because it's the holiday season. It gets a little slow around here, but we want to do a show because we're inching again closer to that 100 mark. And I guess we're still kind of trying to figure out if we want to do that before the new year or at CES or how we're going to do that. But anyways, we're back for 99. We got some stuff to catch up on. Like we've got Android 6.0.1 now. We've got a Pixel C in-house, a Moto 360 Sport in-house. The TAG Heuer Connected review is out. Google Play Music's family plan. So some stuff to talk about, and then just maybe general chatting with whoever's in the chat because I don't know, we haven't talked to you guys in a while. So let's start though with Android 6.0.1. So a couple of weeks ago, Hiroshi Lockheimer. What's Hiroshi's official title? Like he just got promoted. I can't even keep track. He's like SVP of Android.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's basically the head of Android at this point. He announced on Twitter that they were going to push a new update that was going to include new emoji, and I'm pretty he said new keyboard, but we have yet to see new keyboard. So I don't know if that's still coming or what. And then bug fixes and stuff. And then I think that's really about it, right? There wasn't much else in 6.0.1. It's really about the emoji.
Right.
And it's kind of sad that it takes a full system update to get emoji. I don't. Maybe it works like that on iOS too. Maybe they have to push a full update to iPhones in order to get new emoji. But Android now has the taco emoji. I know people think that's a really big deal. Like, is that just one of those things that you send all the time in messages? Is taco emoji? I've never fully understood that.
Unless I'm going to Taco Bell, coming from Taco Bell, why do I need a taco emoji?
I have no idea. I have no idea why it's such a big deal. I thought like the unicorn emoji was a bigger deal than the taco emoji, but
that's a huge deal because I could
so.
see myself using the unicorn every day.
I've definitely spammed the unicorn already.
Yeah.
Anyway, they updated a bunch of other as well. Like I think we got burrito. There's new cheese, and then they tweaked a bunch of like the faces and stuff. They tweaked the poop. The poop now has eyes.
Android emoji, just sort of in general, not as good as iOS. I don't know why that is. I think Google tries to make their emoji like a little too cute or, cutesy type, like give them characteristics and stuff. A lot of them I can't even understand. Like some of them are like they're doing like little praying things, or
you can barely tell. And what's with their yellow waving, like sumo guys that they use for everything? At least that's what they're.
Yeah, I don't know, but I wouldn't say they're as good as iOS, but they're getting better. I still feel like it's odd. Like there's not a there's hand gestures like thumbs up, thumbs down, stuff like that, but there's not even one for like crossing fingers or anything like that. There's still like a few crucial ones I would say that are missing. I haven't seen a pirate flag or anything like that. So.
Yeah, and they did introduce a bunch of flags finally. You used to have to like copy and paste those from like the web because they just weren't, you couldn't find them in the keyboard, which is just ridiculous. The eye emoji still sucks on Android. It got better this time around.
Yeah, so someone in the chat is asking why emoji are even a big deal. They're a big deal because they're sort of like pop culture now. Emoji, you can add them, you can express emotions or feelings towards something without saying any words. You just put the emoji, and so they sort of help with expressing how you feel about something, whether it be it might be childish or immature, I guess you could say. That's a really big truck, but I like emoji. I used to not care, but now since Android is getting more support, especially in the Android apps, like for example, it used to be hard to sort of put an emoji inside of Instagram or Snapchat, but now it's much easier thanks to these updates. And I think it's good to be on the same level as iOS. If you want people to come over from iOS to Android, iOS users love their emoji. So Android has to have good emoji, period. So that's why it's a big deal.
Yeah. And they're just fun to use. I know that person asked, Drummer62 asked if we're all children, but they're just fun.
I'm a child at heart.
I am too a little bit. So anyways, they're greatly improved, I will say. Some of the ones they tweaked are finally better. Like they used to just look like they were written in a pencil, and now they're actually like cartoonish and look like actual emoji. So anyways, that was actually the big 6.0.1 update, which seems weird that we needed an entire system update for that, but we did, and it's out on Nexus phones and tablets. And SwiftKey is actually updating their beta to include the new emoji, but you obviously have to be running 6.0.1. And no one else has 6.0.1. So if you're on Android and you don't have a Nexus, you still can't use the new emoji. Welcome to Android. So that's rolling out. If you haven't updated, we've got factory images and OTA zip files, whatever you need. So jump on that. Let's see. Let's talk about Pixel C. So Google pushed out. So we can back up. So at the end of September, Google announced new Nexus phones and Android 6.0 as Marshmallow, and then at the end, a new Chromecast, and then at the very end of the event, they were like, "But we got one more thing," or whatever, and it was this Pixel. I keep wanting to call it the Chromebook Pixel C. I don't know if you do that as you're holding it up there. So they announced this thing called the Pixel C, and everyone was like, "Well, we thought Pixel was a Chrome thing," and they were like, no. It just means like it's our own hardware and it's high end and probably really overpriced. And we were like, oh, and like, hey, it's got this really cool keyboard. And we're like, okay, that's pretty cool. And it runs Android. And what else are you offering me? And they were like, we don't know because it's not ready yet. It'll have it by the holidays. And so like time just kept going. Black Friday comes, no Pixel C. And then was it last week they announced it? I think it was last week. Let me look. Yeah, December 10th.
Made available,
Yeah, so last week, they finally made it available and said, like, here you go. Some people got review units early, like 5 people, I think. And we have one now, but so it's available and it's $4.99, I think, starting price. And that's is that 32 gig?
32 gig. Okay. And then the keyboard attachment is another $150.
Yeah.
So,
and if you want to jump up to 64 gig, they're actually going like the Apple route and charging you another $100, which is kind of shitting on Google's part. So it's available and you can buy it at Google Store. It'll ship immediately, get it. And it is out. So you have one. We've unboxed it. Do you want to maybe just kind of recap some specs and talk about what you think? You've been using it for a good week now, so I'm interested to hear what you have to say about it. We haven't talked much about it, so.
Yeah, in terms of the specs, I don't have the specs actually pulled up right in front of me, but I will here in a second. So, but what I can do in the meantime is give you my sort of first impressions. It is an Android tablet, and as everyone here should probably know, Android tablets are borderline useless. And I hate to be critical, but at the same, I don't use Android tablets because there's no point. An Android phone can do exactly what I can do on a tablet. Sure, it's good to have a larger display if you enjoy reading digital books or looking at magazines, or if you want to take it on the go and watch Netflix or YouTube videos or something. But I just don't see a huge use for Android tablets, mainly because app support. There's nothing that differentiates Android tablet apps versus the smartphone apps. Whereas, say, Apple has a huge ecosystem, ecosystem 10, that utilizes the iPad a lot better than Android apps do on a tablet. So the display, super nice. While I'm kind of doing this, let me go over the specs here. I finally have them pulled up. So display. 10.2 inch 2560 by 1800, and so quad HD essentially, but a little I guess it's wider. I don't know what the exact terminology.
It's kind of a weird
resolution.
Yeah, I can't say that. Yeah, 2560 by 1800. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I guess they probably wanted to go that. Is that 4:3? I can't do math that easily.
I'm not a big math guy, but I would say 4:3, not 16.
It's sort of like that style, that more squarish style, rather than like a Nexus 7 or a phone that's 2560 by 1440 or whatever it is.
Exactly. And then I guess sort of the big one that stood out to me when they first announced it wasn't sort of the display resolution, but the processor they use, which is the Nvidia Tegra X1 processor, which you would find in sort of like these new line of autonomous cars and all that. They're really touting the performance of the X1. And so 3 gigs of RAM. Let me just run through it. 3 gigs of RAM, 8 megapixel rear-facing camera, 2 megapixel front-facing camera. It does have stereo speakers on each side, which is they do sound pretty good. USB Type-C, NFC. It's sort of like the most high-end Android tablet that's ever been created, at least in terms of specs and in quality. I mean, it is a Pixel, and much like the Pixel, the Chromebook Pixel. has this all metal sort of exterior. It has these external LED lights too, which sort of gives you that chrome look with the blue, red, yellow, green. But it also doubles, I believe, as the battery kind of meter. So when it drains down, you'll see a green line. It gets fader and fader along the back. Performance has been good. Like I've been playing Fallout Shelter and a couple of like Blossom Blast silly games, but I mean, performance seems good. And, you know, but again, it is running Marshmallow, but there's nothing that differentiates this experience between any other Nexus tablet you could get, or really essentially any Android tablet, say besides like something from Samsung that has TouchWiz and, you know.
At least that has multi-window.
Yeah, at least you can actually, you know, get some use out of that big display. But, you know, I hate to say, but I don't, you know, I wanted to be excited for this, but I'm just not. It's so boring. I want to say, you know, there's one software tweak that I've even noticed and I hate it. And so on the bottom here, usually on Android, you've got the 3 buttons centered, but on the Pixel C, they put the back button and the home button on the left and then the multitasking button on the right. Usually they would just be centered and everything's groovy. But on here, they decided to change it up, maybe because they wanted to differentiate this sort of OS between the others. But
so I'm with you. It is the dumbest. So basically they're moving to the assumption that you hold your tablet, right? Like this,
Right.
like so your thumbs are always there, except most people don't hold their tablet like that. Like you hold your tablet with one hand, right? And then you navigate with the other like this. And so it's easier as you're swiping around the middle of your tablet, which is where you're always swiping, to just go down and hit whatever directional button you need or navigation button, right? But now you have to like swipe around and then you have to go, oh, now I have to like readjust over here and use I agree. It was a terrible decision on their part. And it changes like that's that whole sort of like cohesive or whatever experience across all platforms. Now you got shit separate. And like on the Nexus 9 6.0.1 update, they didn't separate the buttons. So it's only on that tablet.
Yeah, the fact that if you want to use the same UI essentially, you know, across the whole platform, but then just change it for this one device, it doesn't really work for the human brain, you know, because I'm programmed already to think that these buttons are there. But now they're changed. So every time I have to use them, I'm like, why are these here? And it throws off my OCD because I got 2 icons over here and only 1 icon over here. And so it's uneven. So in my head, I'm always feeling it tip towards this way because I got more icons on this side. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's okay. But
it's got a nice build at least, right? Like it's pretty sexy looking, except it's like there's not even a Google logo on it. It's weird actually.
Yeah, no Google logo. It's pretty plain. I mean, you know, for $500, I don't know.
How much is the Nexus 9 right now? It's $399, right?
The Nexus 9, you can get that through like an HTC hot deal for like $150, $200. I mean, they're giving that thing away now, but I wouldn't recommend that tablet either. Actually, I'd go so far as to say I wouldn't recommend any Android tablet. Actually, wait, sorry, take that back. I would recommend the Shield tablet, like if you're big into gaming.
Yeah. Because
you can use GeForce Now and you can use like the controller. Like that's actually kind of a cool device. You can hook it up to your big screen TV. That's a cool device, and it's actually cheap. It's like $200 right now, and it comes with a controller. I think they got a holiday bundle going on. So I would recommend that, and it gets quick updates. It's a lot like a Nexus, although it comes with many more like gaming features, what I would use a tablet for. Right. And because I don't do reading on digital things, I'd rather have a hard copy or pages I can feel. There's something about looking at a screen to read a book or anything that just doesn't work for me. So I would not recommend this, although it is cool. But that's all it is. It's just cool. But it's an
what about the
tablet,
keyboard?
You know?
So when they presented this thing, I remember going, okay, so you created another Android tablet and you don't have like any real selling feature in terms of software. You haven't done anything there. Like there's no overwhelming like, oh, cool, an Android tablet that actually means something. And then they pull out this keyboard. And it was almost like when they were presenting it, they were more excited about how cool the keyboard was than the actual tablet, right? Because like the keyboard doesn't even come with a plug to charge. Like the only way to charge it is to attach it to face-to-face or keys-to-face of the tablet, and then it wirelessly charges, which is cool and a cool technology. And it's got like a really nice hinge. You can set it at whatever angle you want, except it costs an extra $150. So Like the tablet costs 500 and there's no real selling point there other than, hey, it's another Android tablet with these really terrible navigation buttons. And they're like, but we have this really cool keyboard. But like, have you used the keyboard much? Like typing on it, is it nice? Like,
When I first got it, I thought I was going to try and sort of write for Droid Life, like say a day out of the week, just using the Pixel C. But I found out within 5 minutes that that's just not possible. The keyboard is fine, like it works. Like I don't have any like auto correction problems or anything like that. But it's a little cramped, at least for my fingers. I have big sort of I don't have big hands, but I have piano player fingers, like they're long fingers. So I get sort of cramped trying to use a smaller keyboard like that. The pounding the keys feels fine, but at the same time, say like the WordPress app for Android sucks. Or if I'm trying to do that through the Chrome app, if I try and go through WordPress and write a post, it's just not possible. Importing images for posts doesn't work. So I can't do what I do for work, which like in the term, like in the great beyond, like that's not that much. I don't need a lot. I just need a keyboard and I need a way to import files. And
yeah, I mean, the problem I think is like it's just the OS and the app support. They're just not made for basically heavy lifting, right?
Heavy lifting.
Multitasking on a tablet, and this same goes for an iPad, really. Like the multitasking is just not there. Like because on a computer, right, you can have multiple windows and tabs and you can easily get between them. On a tablet, it's just not that easy to jump between things and share things between things. It's sort of easier on Android, obviously, but it's still impossible. Yeah.
I think that these companies they want the tablet to replace the laptop, but it's just not possible because the laptop is essentially, it is a computer. It has like the computer interface where a tablet just doesn't. It's too watered down of an experience to really get, it doesn't have the software support.
Right.
So maybe one day a tablet will be able to replace a laptop, but not anytime soon. Not when MacBook Airs are becoming even smaller and more powerful and stuff like that. So for me, it's just not it. We're not there yet.
Well, and then the one feature that we sort of thought they might introduce was a multi-window thing, right? Because that keeps showing up in like random builds of Android. And everyone's like, oh, they'll probably introduce it with the Pixel, and then it didn't. And then their Pixel team did a Reddit AMA, and what did they say? Like, we're working on it, so maybe in 6.1 or 7.0 or whatever the hell the next version is. It could be a while.
Yeah, we'll see. A lot of people, at least our readers, didn't seem very excited about the Pixel. See, which is, because they know that right. Android tablets aren't worth anything. And
it was funny when I wrote up the unboxing. I was like, hey, we're looking at a tablet. Or maybe in the unboxing video I did, I was like, hey, we got a tablet. I know that's like something you don't see often. We just don't talk about Android tablets because they're terrible. It hurts to say that. Like, this is the operating system we talk about all the time, but like, they're just not any good. So
yeah, they don't offer all that much. I would still buy an iPad just because I would have access to Tiny Wings. So that's it for me.
In 2017 or 19 or 21, you're still going to be like, I'd go iPad for Tiny Wings, because that's never coming. Is there a Tiny Wings 2 or anything like that? Have those people created anything else besides just the original Tiny Wings?
I'm pretty sure there is a Tiny Wings 2, although I think it came in an update just for Tiny Wings. Like they added like a multiplayer support. But there's no Android version coming. That guy got super rich, super quick, and he's like, I quit.
Retired.
Yeah, there's no reason not to.
He's hanging out with Fetty and Launcher Pro.
Fetty, down in South America or wherever. Yeah, he just reduced out.
That's funny.
Bye, Fetty.
All right. Let's move on for Pixel C. So Moto 360 Sport. Moto 360 Sport, sort of like Pixel C, it was announced a long time ago. So when Motorola announced the new Moto 360 and the Moto X Pure Edition, they also announced this Moto 3. Wait, no, they had already announced the Pure Edition. This was just a 360 event. And they announced the 360 Sport. And so they wouldn't let anyone touch real working units, even though there was only a couple in the building. They would really only let us play with these dummy units that obviously didn't have working parts or anything. And so then I think this was last week, Motorola finally announced availability. It's coming to the UK, I think today, actually, in the UK. I don't know why it's going there first. And then on January 7th, almost a whole month later, it's coming to the US. and it starts at $299. Actually, I think it is only $299. I don't think there's like multiple models. Anyways, there's a white, orange, and black versions. January 7th, US, and the Moto 360 Sport. So it's obviously their take on a sport fitness watch. It's kind of just like a regular Moto 360 second gen, except the display is a special AnyLight hybrid display where if you're indoors or outdoors, it sort of adjusts automatically to hopefully give you the best viewing experience. But it's got like Snapdragon 400 and 512 megabytes of RAM and 4 gig of internal storage. It's got all of the same specs as basically every other Android Wear watch. It is IP67 water and dust resistant though, and then it does have a GPS. So this is one of the few that does have a GPS. That's pretty much it. You've been wearing it for a couple days now. Any thoughts?
I really like it. I'm not big in like the sport watch stuff. I'm more like sort of fashion first. But this thing actually looks pretty good. The display is my favorite part about it so far. It's kind of got the sort of anti-glare, anti-gloss feel to it. So when you're outside or inside with incandescent lighting sort of shining right on it, you can still see it very well. I like the design. It's a lot like the Moto 360 second gen, but it's rubber, silicone, and it's super comfortable. I have to say, they've got the crown up in the 2 o'clock position, which is nice. It's not digging into your wrist or anything like that. It doesn't come with a lot of watch faces. Like there's only one that really separates it from the rest of the Moto 360s, and that's that odd looking multicolor one. I know it's hard to tell, but it's cool. Battery life seems great. It's at 4% right now, and I've only charged it once since I got it. And I've been using it pretty good. I've been trying to wear it as much as I can. The pedometer seems to work well. I don't exactly know why I need a GPS. Like I get it if I want to track my runs and stuff. Like I'm not the biggest fitness guy, but I do like walk my dogs and stuff all the time. So
yeah, the only real reason for GPS is if you go for runs. Otherwise, there's not really.
Yeah, but
there might be like a golf app you can use,
maybe
because that'll work then. Yeah. Otherwise, there's not like a lot. Like that's the point. So
even if I took running seriously, and like I get like you want to know all your data and all that, but I would just run for the sake of running, like not to be a nerd about it and like know all my GPS info. Don't hate it.
No, I'm saying if you're a runner, you do care about all that nerd stuff. I've gone through I don't know how many different apps until I found one I liked because I liked how it tracks and its interface. That is part of it. It's just like with anything, you can obsess about. There's like all the little gadget nerd stuff with running, but.
Well, I'm going to try, before this review is up, I will give it a run because I just moved. I'm in a new neighborhood, so I want to run around and take a good look at it. I'll run with the dogs. We'll try out the Moto 360 Sport. But so far, awesome display, good battery life so far. I'm actually super surprised, only 300 milliamp hour.
Yeah, which is kind of on the smaller side.
It is on the smaller side compared to, say, the Huawei watch and the 400 milliamp hour.
How is the display outdoors? I had it briefly just to do an unboxing, but I didn't take it outdoors like in bright light. Does it actually sort of flip and can you see it really well?
It's great. I'm trying to explain. It looks like a flat image instead of like a glossy where you may see kind of glare. Like it just seems flat and really good at, I want to say like kind of like an e-paper, but that's not it. But it seems sort of matte. Does that make sense? Like no gloss. So I like that. There's really not much to say. Android Wear, it's growing. It's getting better. But the performance seems good. Like when I'm scrolling through, there's no jank like we saw with the TI OMAP processor on the first gen Moto 360. So far so good. I'm still in the testing phase.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and our review will take a little while because you can't even buy the damn thing yet, right? So
yeah,
it's kind of crazy that it came out in the UK first. I wonder why that is. There's don't people in the UK just like smoke and drink? Like they don't like run, do they?
I don't know. Maybe times are changing. I've
Sorry,
never been
UK people.
Yeah, I've never been to the UK. I don't know if they're big into fitness. I bet them looking at us though on the other side, they probably think we're all fat slobs. Like
they probably totally do. Yeah.
Yeah. All we do is we eat McDonald's, sit on our
football,
butts,
watch American football.
Yeah, American football.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. So yeah, Moto 360 Sport. We've got one. If you guys have comments or questions on it, let us know. But we'll be working on it.
Yep.
Still talking watches. I finally reviewed see if it has any power. No, it's dead. The TAG Heuer Connected, this big beast of a watch here. So it's dead because I basically, once the review is done, took it off and haven't put it back on. So I will actually say, well, there's a few things to say here. So it's a $1,500 smartwatch. We all get that. So it's ridiculously overpriced for a smartwatch that's going to die in 2 years, and or less. And obviously TAG Heuer realizes that because they're doing that trade-in program where in 2 years, when the warranty's up on this thing, you can trade it in and shell out some more cash and then buy a real mechanical watch. So even they understand that this thing is not built to last. So that's kind of an interesting thing to dive into then. Like, you buy a watch knowing that, and not only just a watch, a $1,500 watch, knowing full well that in 2 years, even the manufacturer of it expects it to be worthless. That's just kind of it's just an odd thing to try to grasp in your mind. So obviously this isn't a watch for everyone. Its price is at a level that is not for everyone. And, TAG Heuer didn't make this watch for everyone. They know that, right? So as a smartwatch, though, with that in mind, it's probably, I would probably say it's the best Android Wear experience I've had. Not that like the Moto 360 or the Huawei watch, there's really anything wrong with those, because they're great too. This was just one of those where, like, I never saw a stutter, I never saw a hiccup. It just like is buttery smooth. And one of those things I always test is the voice dictation and recognition, right? The OK Google stuff and all that. And this thing hit that just about every damn time I said it. And then it actually transcribed or dictated whatever I was saying and did it almost every single time. And like, I can't name another smartwatch that I thought was as accurate as this one. And so like for me, using a smartwatch, like that's part of it, right? Is using your voice so you don't have to use your hands, because it doesn't have a keyboard, right? So you flip it up and ask it things or tell it to do things or whatever. This just seemed so good at that. As far as the rest of it goes, so software experience, I think is one of the best. And with that in mind, this is running Intel's smartwatch or mobile chip, and it also has a full gig of RAM. So, the Moto 360 Sport, which isn't even out yet, has the older Snapdragon chip and 512 megabytes of RAM. Like, this is running a new Intel chip and a full gig of RAM, which is nice. Anyway, outside of the software experience, which I do like a lot, it's a $1,500 watch, dude. And it's a $1,500 watch on a rubber strap. So, it's got a titanium body and whatnot. It's just like, this is one of those things where, like, if you're a watch guy and you like TAG Heuer or something like that, like, you would potentially consider it because you're a big TAG Heuer fan. Like, otherwise, I don't know who would buy this thing. Or maybe you're into luxury watches and you're like, well, let's see what a luxury watchmaker who's making a smartwatch thinks of or does with a smartwatch. Otherwise, like, I don't know who would buy this. But TAG Heuer says they're like in such high demand that they are not only ramping up production, they're also cutting off online sales because they want to sell them through their stores, because that's where people are apparently flocking in to buy them at. So I wouldn't personally go out and buy this because, there's like, you buy a Moto 360 for $300 and it's just as good, right? The experience. But look, if you're like got money to blow and you want what I consider to be the best smartwatch experience, and you happen to like TAG Heuer, like, you're not going to be disappointed. Like, that's basically what I said in my review. Like, people shouldn't be complaining about the price of this thing. Like, it's made by TAG Heuer, and everything they make is, you could consider sort of overpriced. And so of course it was going to be really expensive. TAG Heuer is not going to make a smartwatch that's priced at $250. They don't make anything that's that price. So it's not for the people that are complaining about it being $1,500. I'm sorry. So,
well, you're an apologist, clearly.
yeah. Somebody did call me an apologist because I didn't rip it apart for being expensive. Like, just because something's expensive doesn't mean it's garbage. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's really expensive, and not everyone should even consider thinking about this at all. But clearly there's a lot of people doing it because they're ramping up production on it. So
you can't hate on TAG Heuer making a $1,500 smartwatch. In fact, I would almost say that's pretty cheap considering that Apple is making a watch over $10,000, and
right.
That's worthless. That's a piece of crap. But it does have some gold. I'll give it that, but it makes no sense to me. It's like a smartwatch just should not cost over $10,000. I don't care how much money you have to blow. I don't care if you're Wiz Khalifa, Juicy J, Cash Money Millionaires. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, for $10,000, you can buy a really, really, really nice watch that will last you forever. Sure, it's not a smartwatch, but it will last you forever, and it will gain value depending on what you buy, right?
Yeah.
That Apple Watch is never gaining value. Like the minute you walk out, it's like worse than buying a car. You know what I mean? Like it just drops.
Well, I was gonna say for $10,000, you could buy a car, and most cars these days do come with like a digital readout of a clock. You're fine if you really need to keep the time, and you can get around from point A to point B. It's money well spent.
Yeah. So the other way to look at this too is like say you want to buy a mechanical watch, right? Like you have your sights set on a TAG Heuer Carrera that costs $3,000, right? So maybe you don't have $3,000 today, but you have $1,500 and you want to like sort of buy into the ecosystem. You could buy this for $1,500 and wear it for 2 years. And then hopefully you've saved up another $1,500 in 2 years. And then you can trade it in and use that extra $1,500 and buy a mechanical Carrera, which they're going to give you. So you can look at it that way too. Like maybe this is just like what you use for the next 2 years until you get your TAG Carrera. But this is not a bad smartwatch. Yes, it's expensive. There's no getting around that. And I don't think most people on earth should buy a $1,500 smartwatch ever. That's not saying it's a bad smartwatch. It's actually a really good smartwatch. So
yeah, we have a comment from Grayson Carr in the YouTube comment section saying for the same price as the TAG, you could get a Pixel C, Nexus 6P, and a Moto 360 and still have a couple $100 to take your wife to a nice dinner. And if you live in a state that doesn't have tax, this is totally true. And depending on the options you get for the 6P and the Moto 360. But yeah, I mean, I don't want anyone to go out there and think they have to max out their credit card in order to get this device because it's not worth that. But if you've got the money, if you've got the means,
well, it's like
so
somebody responded to Grayson in that chat and just said, yeah, but the person buying this watch, they don't think at it like that. Like
course, and you're not supposed to.
$1,500 to spend on a TAG watch. They probably own like 128 gig 6P and they own 3 iPads and they drive a Maserati. I mean, I don't know, not a Maserati, but
Tesla.
Yeah, they probably drive, right, exactly. So it's not a watch that's for
everyone. Yeah, and that's fine. People should just accept it. Yes. Accept the fact that we're all broke. We're all working class Americans who are just trying to get by month to month. Let's face it.
This is true.
But yeah.
So anyways, it's TAG Heuer Connected. It's a nice smartwatch. I'll just say that. It's obviously not for everyone, so don't stress about it. If you can't go out and buy it, or you're pissed that I gave it a good review, just move on. There's other things to worry about. There really are other things.
No.
All right. So outside of the Android 6.0.1 update we talked about earlier, there are some Marshmallow updates actually coming to non-Nexus devices right now. So the HTC One A9 started with it, right? And so that doesn't really count, although it's supposed to get 6.0.1 this month, I believe. So the A9 will be all up in that new emoji real soon. But Moto X Pure Edition is getting it. And I think it's rolling out to everyone, right? Like it started out as a little test, and now everyone has it. And if you don't have it, I'm pretty sure we have the file somewhere at our website. You can probably sideload it, which I think is what both you and I did. The Sprint LG G4 is getting Marshmallow today. So that's one of the first. Look at LG.
What's up with that? No, look at Sprint. That's amazing.
Sprint bringing it home. Yeah. So that's happening. I don't think the G4 has been, I think, slowly getting it in weird countries. Like, didn't it get in Denmark first or something like it always does?
Yeah, I think it was like Poland, Denmark, somewhere like Netherlands, Europe, Northern Europe.
Yeah, it's Poland. Yeah, they did it with Lollipop with the G3 in Poland last year.
Yeah, that was a huge deal. Yeah. Like I love the clickbait, non-clickbait, like LG G3 getting Lollipop ... in Poland. But I love that. That's my favorite.
Yeah. So, but this is the first US model, right? That's a pretty big deal. No AT&T, no T-Mobile, no Verizon yet, just Sprint. So
it's got to be coming soon.
Yeah. And then the Droid Turbo 2, we're pretty sure is getting it any day now. because they announced a soak test of a software update and they wouldn't say what it is. But at like basically the day after they announced that, two of our readers who work for Verizon, who have the employee edition, because they still make Droid Turbo 2 employee editions, they got the update. So it's coming. It's rolling out eventually. Although that soak test, I don't think ever kicked off. So I don't think you're going to get it like tomorrow or anything, but it's coming. So we're getting there. Marshmallow updates a little bit faster maybe than last year.
It's getting better. You know, I gotta say, ever since updating the Moto X Pure Edition, you can check out my Kylo Ren wallpaper. But I gotta say, there's some bugs. There's some Wi-Fi issues. I've gotten a couple of random reboots after installing Marshmallow, and no, it's not good. Android 6.0, I thought, at least in my review when I was reviewing the Nexus 6P, squashed a lot of the bugs. That Lollipop sort of brought, and now I feel like I'm sort of back in the Lollipop where there's some jank. I can't really trust the performance of my device when I really need it. I mean, it works fine like day to day, but there's just like little things you'll notice, like the camera opens up a little slower, taking pictures, and when you after you take a picture and then you swipe into the gallery, like it glitches. Like I'll swipe over, I see a black screen, and then all of a sudden the gallery app will close. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, maybe this is Motorola jank.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, but, you know, so that's my problem. I don't want to blame Marshmallow because everything worked great on the Nexus 6P. So it's got to be Moto. It's got to be I don't know what's going on over there. At least they updated it. Like, I'll give them credit. But maybe a little bit more testing, a little more bug squashing would have been good. But they need to
add 6.0.1.
Yeah, so we'll see.
You're right. I just tried to fire up the camera on mine, and it was totally slow.
Yeah.
Now I can't even get it to
Yeah, like it seems to open up just fine, but oh, and something else. I don't know. Maybe this killed it, but I can't do the chop for my flashlight anymore. You know, you could usually chop it.
Did it get turned off?
No, it did not. I checked, but yeah, the gesture for it is unresponsive. So
I'm
that's
totally gonna try now.
No, do it. I'll just to go in here. I will prove that the gesture is turned on. Chop twice for flashlight. Chop twice for flashlight is turned on, ladies and gentlemen.
Mine's on too.
Chop.
Wow.
Oh, I have to be in the screen for it to work? I swear, dude. You just seen me chopping it. What is this? What?
Turned right off. Here's with the screen off too. Oh, it has to be down. It has to be down. You can't do it up like that. Do it so that it's like this. So like I mean, like the phone can't be upright. You have to do it like so the phone's like this. So you're like this.
I prove it.
Yeah, see,
dude,
it's all about the angle. You have to have it like this. See.
Huh. I don't think it's as responsive as it used to be before the update, but that's
the
just
camera
me.
definitely isn't, which is unfortunate because that's one of the best things there.
Yeah. So, other than that, I'm really happy to be running back on Marshmallow. You know, after I was done with the 6P, I went back to Lollipop on the Moto X Pure. So I'm just happy to be back on Marshmallow, even though I guess there's nothing different. Like I thought.
Doze is king.
Yeah, there's Doze is cool, and Google Now on Tap is cool. But since it doesn't work with Google for Work or the Google Apps accounts, I don't get to use it as much unless I use my actual Gmail, which I hardly ever do. So that's a problem.
I use Gmail for Google Now, and I never use Google Now on Tap, just so you know. Actually, if you look in any of our comment threads, every time we write up Google Now on Tap, everyone says the same thing. They all say they don't use it. Like, I wish I had a use for this. They're like, when this was first announced, it was really cool, and it was one of those big demo things at I/O, and no one uses Now on Tap now.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where in the moment you have to need something. Like, so you know, a lot of the examples are you're having a conversation in Hangouts with someone, and they say, maybe we should go to this movie tonight. and they're like, oh, I don't know anything about that movie, so let me pull up Google Now on tap. But like if someone mentions a movie, like chances are you probably heard of it, right? Or like, let's go to this restaurant. I guess that would work. But how often are you just like chit chatting with the homies and they're like, let's go to this restaurant that we've never heard of before? I don't know. I just like the use cases are so limited. I just don't know that every time there would be that many chances to use them.
Yeah, I just don't know how realistic it all is.
Yeah. I mean, like you're on Twitter or something and someone posts a tweet about something and you maybe want to know something more about it. Maybe. Does that happen? Does that happen a lot? I don't know if that happens a lot.
It doesn't.
It's one of those things like you use it to find out information, but
yes.
The other thing is they just added recently was package tracking, and what was the other one? Well, they added screenshots, which is cool. That's actually useful.
Isn't there flight tracking now too?
That's it, flight track. So yeah, if somebody texts you like flight tracking, you could hit that. So that's kind of useful.
Cool. That's cool.
The package tracking, on the other hand, is completely not, right? Because you have to be looking at an email that says like your order confirmation and probably says something about tracking, and then you could launch Now on tap. Except Google Now like already reads that information, right? And so if you just open up Google Now, that's probably already there. Like how often do you go back into an email of an order? I don't know. Maybe people do that a lot.
It's possible.
Anyways, Google Now on tap is cool. It's just not the greatest thing. Anyways, off track here. Doze is like the greatest thing ever. So I used to be, this all has to do with charging basically. But so, I used to like hammer through a phone, and by like 8-9 o'clock, it's slowly dying and I'm down to like 20%. I'm thinking about plugging it in for a while if I'm going to be up for another couple hours. Now I just kind of run that thing down to like 15-20%. And then I go to bed and wake up the next morning and it hasn't even changed, right? Like you no longer have to charge phones at night and leave them plugged in all night. And then I think, are you one of those conspiracy theorists that thinks you shouldn't leave your phone in plugged in all night?
Maybe.
Yeah. So like now I'm on board with you. Like I don't even have to do that anymore and like worry about you being right or something. Like I just don't plug it in at night. And then I sit at my desk and USB Type-C it in the morning and charge it in like an hour and I'm good.
Yeah, I don't want my lithium ion battery to drain or burn out or whatever the hell.
Yeah. So So I don't have to do that anymore. Like and the thing is, because it's USB Type-C, the 6P, which is what I use, I haven't put a Type-C charger up near my bed yet. So it's just pure laziness. And so I can't plug it in up there. But I still go to bed with confidence every night because of Doze.
Good.
Love me some Doze, like the 6P, because I have it sitting on my desk too. And sometimes I just don't touch it for like 2 days and I pick it back up and it's still at like 50% because Doze just chilling.
Good job, Doze.
Good job, Doze. All right. So yeah, Marshmallow is rolling out to people just slowly. Samsung, we have no idea when it's coming to Samsung phones, right? Probably next year sometime, like in February.
It's reported that Galaxy Note 5 S6 Edge should see it December, but it seems unlikely at this point.
Yeah, so we're running out of days.
Yeah, we're running out of days sort of quickly. Haven't even seen like a leak of a file or anything like that. So I'm just, early 16 is when you should expect it.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I would love it on Note 5. I'd maybe jump back on.
I might jump back on the Note 5 if it did that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see. So, new, also sort of leftover news from September's Nexus event. Google Play Music Family Plan finally alive and available. Kind of crazy. So, Google Play Music Family Plan. You can sign up for it now. It's $14.99 a month, and that is up to, well, they say up to 6 family members, but you can really invite whoever the hell you want into this thing. And it's kind of a big deal. Not only do you get the family plan, you also get access to YouTube Red. This is like the best deal in media, I think. So for up to 6 family members, $14.99, you get not only access to the entire Google Play Music collection and radio and all that stuff with no ads in there, you get access to YouTube Red. And everyone on the account gets access to YouTube Red with no ads and all that stuff. So, I mean, I think individually it's like $10, right? So you might as well just fork out the extra $5 and then just add a couple of friends and see if they'll give you a couple bucks each month. And it's kind of crazy. So you can sign up, I believe, only via Android. Like the Android app is how you have to initiate sign up. At least it was like that last week when it first came out. It's pretty easy to do. One of the cool things you do get though is the ability to add a family group on Google Play. So like outside of family played music, family plan, whatever the hell we're calling it, you can add like a family credit card. So your kids or your friends or whoever can go buy apps and games and stuff like that. And all use like a family credit card. So that's kind of cool. That's one of those side things that came with this that Google hasn't fully embraced or announced. So kind of neat. I signed up immediately because my wife and I have had to share a single Gmail account so that we have access to the same plan. And that sucks because you can only use one device at a time. So now that is fixed. I've been waiting for this damn thing for so long. I almost signed up for Apple Music because they introduced it like right away. The only terrible thing about that is I had to cancel my promo single plan, which is $7.99, and I'll never get that price back. Yeah. Did you sign up for this, or are you still on your like solo plan?
Yeah, don't exactly need it. Just on my solo plan because I have the discounted like $7.99 Google Play Music. So, and my girlfriend, she uses Google Play, but she doesn't really like need it. She doesn't watch YouTube videos. She doesn't need Red. She doesn't need half the stuff. So just let her pay for her own, and we'll just leave it at that.
So terrible. That's what I'm saying. I had to give up my $7.99 pricing.
Yeah, I don't want to give up my $7.99.
But I need the multi-account support because we had all sorts of problems with wife streaming, me not being able to, and it was hell for many, many months. Let's see. All right, so we want to talk about what phone. Well, so let's talk about the phones we're using and what you would maybe recommend people buy. So we've been doing this series for like a week now on 5 reasons to buy like all these different phones, like Moto XP, Nexus 6P, V10, Note 5, Nexus 5X. I'm sure I'm missing one. Anyways, so you basically told me like I think a couple of weeks ago you would kind of switch to the Moto Xperia edition. You've been using it for a while, and obviously now you're excited because it has Marshmallow, even though you think there's a bunch of bugs, which are may very well be. And I'm on the 6P. But if you were to recommend a phone right now for someone to buy, what would it be? Or if you were actually, no, I'll change that. If you were buying a phone, like say you didn't own a phone right now and you were like, I need to buy a phone because I don't work in this industry and people don't just hand me review units all the time. Like what phone would you buy?
I would go for the Nexus 6P. Only because it's a Nexus. If I was looking at it from an outsider perspective, I would know that I want the latest version of Android as quickly as possible because I want to be up to date with everything. So I would get a Nexus. I would get the 6P because from the reviews I've read, the 5X doesn't perform as well as the 6P. Like I could handle a bigger display as long as my performance is good, the camera is good, display is good, not a plastic little piece of junk. At least from the reviews I've read. That's not from my experience. So I would go 6P. It's priced very well, especially at $50 off right now for the holidays and free overnight shipping from Google Play. So the phone starts at $349. No, $449. Excuse me. So that seems like a good deal to me, and I would probably bump it up to 64 gigs, get that frost white, maybe the black. I don't know, the graphite. I don't know. So if I was just buying a phone for myself, I would probably get the 6P. And but if I was trying to give someone advice as to what phone they would get, I would say you got 3 choices, man. You got the 6P, Galaxy Note 5, and the Moto Xperia edition. Those are like the top 3 phones of the year, pretty easily by almost by a landslide because LG didn't do anything to fix their horrible UI or anything like that this year. So yeah, you only got 3 choices, and it seems pretty easy to me. I mean, the 6P, Note 5, then Moto Xperia edition. So each has their pros. They don't really have too many cons, I'd say. So, I mean, the Moto X, you can customize it, get that beautiful leather. Nexus 6P, of course, being a Nexus, it's pro. And the Note 5, it's got the stylus, but it has the best camera, one of the best displays. It is a powerhouse. That thing is glorious. So, yeah, 3 awesome phones right now. 2015 has been so good to us. I'm really hoping 2016 isn't a letdown. I hope Samsung keeps going with this awesome design, the look they have. So, and I hope Lenovo doesn't kill Motorola.
I think they're working towards that, but yeah.
Yep.
I'm with you. 2015 was an awesome year for Android phones. I mean, you could buy, like, you could, argue that even the G4 and the V10 are really good phones. Well, I'm
Sure.
with you. I wouldn't put them in the top three at all. They're both good phones. And then you
Mhm.
still had the regular S6 and S6 Edge, which are good phones. They just have terrible battery life, but everything else about them was awesome.
Yeah.
HTC, there's the one A9, which I think some people like.
Yeah.
I don't think I would recommend anyone buy it. And the one M9 was absolute garbage. I will stand by that through the rest of my life. That phone was garbage.
Them's fighting words.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I'm sorry, but if you stick up for that phone, you got blinders on or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the phones this year, because I remember we had the conversation about at the end of last year where we said it's kind of a disappointing year in terms of phones. Like nothing was awesome, right? Like the S5 was a complete flop. The Note 4 was a solid phone. It just was kind of ugly. Oh no, the Note 4 was their first metal phone, wasn't it? Outside of that little mini thing they did. So the Note 4 was legit. It actually had a metal frame. But like the Moto X second gen was decent. We liked it for the experience and the leather, but like the camera was crap. The Nexus 6 was a whale, and no one bought that damn thing. So yeah, it was like last year was a bunch of missteps. The G3 started out good, and then I feel like it suffered that like UI slowdown that many Samsung and LG phones do. Yeah, last year was terrible. This year was awesome. Like at the end of last year, like the Moto X second gen with its garbage camera was our phone of the year. Yeah, I mean, like that shows you how bad last year was when a phone with an absolute disgusting camera won phone of the year from us. This year, Nexus 6P, Moto X Peer, and Note 5 are all right there. If I was telling someone to buy one, it all depends on budget, right? If people have $500, like I would say, just go buy the 6P. You're gonna like the phone, and assuming you like a pretty big phone. If the budget's lower than that, I mean, yesterday you could buy the Moto X Pure Edition with 32 gig of storage for $349. It was $100 off. Like I almost bought one just to because I was like, this is too good of a deal. I should take advantage of this. And I already have one. Well, mine's a review unit. Yours isn't. So mine may have to go back someday. I almost bought one because I was like, this is a $350 for the Moto X Pure Edition, a phone that's this good that already runs Marshmallow. So depending on budget, right? That's kind of where I would go. I'd throw the Note 5 in there, but part of me just hesitates, right? Because we just talked about we don't know when this is getting Marshmallow. It should get it early next year. The Note 5 is their most recent flagship, but I don't know. I don't have any trust in Samsung and software, unfortunately, after all these years. Maybe that'll change. Maybe they'll push it out in January and I'll just forget all about this conversation. Yeah, but I guess if it's someone that cares about new software, I would probably say 6P and Moto X Pure. And then I would say, but if you want something a little bit different, then there's the Note 5 and you can't go wrong there either. If I was buying one, I would buy, it'd probably be 6P. And probably the version I have, which is the white one.
It's got that awesome fingerprint reader. Dude, I mean, the Moto X Pure Edition, the one thing it is missing is a fingerprint reader right on the back where the dimple is. If it had a good fingerprint reader, it'd be game over, man. It's got a totally usable camera. 6P and the Note 5 definitely have a better camera, but Moto X definitely took a step in the right direction this year in terms of the camera usability.
Yeah, the camera's totally fine in the Moto X Pure Edition.
Yeah, I actually saw an LG V10 in the Star Wars movie last night, not in the movie but in the theater. Someone next to me had the V10. I wanted to ask him about it, but he was a total nerd and he was spazzing out, so I didn't want to talk to him or anything. He had a big old Darth Maul t-shirt on. I was like, dude, really? Darth Maul? Anyway, I get that he's cool. It's just you
wore the shirt of the guy from the worst Star Wars movie ever made.
He was the coolest character in that in that prequel trilogy, but yeah, I just don't understand. It smelled. I was over it. I was like, this is what I was fearing coming to premiere night of Star Wars. This guy right here, he stinks of cigarettes and he's got a Darth Maul t-shirt on. This is the guy I didn't want to sit next to. He's spazzing out
with an LG V10.
Yeah, Honchoro. I'm like, oh, dude, calm down, buddy.
Oh, that's really funny.
But yeah,
we can talk about Star Wars in a minute, but yeah. Anyways, those are the phones. So yeah.
There's some good phones. 2015.
Just envisioning the Darth Maul guy now. But let's just
Yeah.
talk about Star Wars for a second. So you saw it. I'm going Sunday, and I booked like an adult only theater. So hopefully I don't have
Smart
Darth
move,
Maul
man.
guy like
Smart move.
huffing and Han Solo,
Han
Millennium
Solo.
Falcon, yeah, the cheering.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. No spoilers from me, but really good movie. Highly recommend you go see it. Unless movie theaters aren't your deal, like maybe wait a month. If like you're not in a total rush, just wait for the crowds to die down because the theater I went to last night wasn't even sold out. Plenty of seats left. So maybe the hype is totally real. I gotta say,
No, it
like
set like Thursday records by like 10 million, I think. It beat the last Harry Potter on an opening Thursday night by like 10 million or something like that.
oh dang,
Yeah, it's something crazy. Yeah.
It was a good movie. It was pretty much exactly what I expected. There was a few kids in there, so like when BB-8 makes his first appearance, they're like BB-8.
And I hate
Like,
BB-8 so much,
like,
and I haven't even seen the movie yet.
how can kids be attached to BB-8? We know nothing about him. He's just a little droid.
It's
ball
because
thing.
Sphero and all the hype
Disney,
toys have been pushing the hell out of BB-8 like it's the coolest.
Yeah, but like we
cute
don't
thing
even
ever.
know if he's a good guy. Like we get that
He hangs out with the chick in the previews. I think we know he's a good guy, right?
Of course,
You
he's
don't
a
have to say
droid. Yeah, it's like no one ever went out and was like C-3PO, yeah. Like R2-D2 is cool because he's got his attitude and stuff. And BB-8, it's awesome. Just go see the movie. I don't want to say too much. Although, dude, this guy, Kylo Ren, he's a total beast. It's a good movie all around. So.
Yeah, I'm excited. But yeah, I don't get to see till Sunday, so I have to like ignore as much of the world as I can for the next like 3 days.
Yeah, well, I mean, if no one here is planning on seeing the movie this weekend, then you have to prepare yourself for Monday because Monday is when everyone is allowed to officially talk about whatever they want the movie. Like you can expect spoilers left and right. Like people won't care.
I would sort of agree. Like once the full opening weekend's over, it's kind of open at that point on social media. I would agree.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll save my full thoughts until then. But if you do plan on going and seeing it, definitely watch. I would not suggest watching Return of the Jedi if you want to go, but I would watch A New Hope. Just watch episode 4 and then go see this movie, and you'll be like, oh yeah, this is legit. Like the movie's total fan service. Like every 10 minutes they bring up something from the first trilogy, and you're just like, yeah, Millennium Falcon, or yeah, Han Solo, or yeah, Chewbacca. Like it's just it's a big wank session. So is what it is.
Which is probably what we've all been waiting for, right? Because we wanted to have that with the first 3, and we just couldn't. I mean, sorry, episode 1, 2, and 3, and we couldn't really because they were so terrible. They weren't all terrible, but like Phantom Menace, and then
dude, they were terrible. I mean, it's okay. Like it's Star Wars, it's cool, but they were
episode
bad.
2 and 3 aren't completely terrible. They're pretty bad. Don't get me wrong. They're pretty bad.
There's just no depth. Like there's no depth. There's no anything. It's not poetry like the first 3. It's just not poetry. Right. So, and yeah, don't worry, anyone. I'm not spoiling anything. We all know Chewbacca and Han Solo are in the movie.
Right.
Like, calm down.
We've seen the previews. If you haven't seen any previews, then I guess you did spoil that. But come on, have you not?
Oh yeah, what the hell are you doing with your life?
There probably are people though that are like, I'm not watching anything. I just want to be surprised. But like, your life would have sucked for the last like 7 months because there's been so much hype.
Yeah,
I will say that I have stopped watching previews because there's a different new preview with more footage like every day now on every channel. And when they come on, I just like turn my head. I'm like, I kind of want to be surprised at least some of this stuff. Like I'm starting to, just by watching trailers, I'm starting to piece together what the hell's going on. I don't really want that to happen.
Yeah. I've been looking at Rotten Tomatoes. All the critics are still saying like it's really good. Audiences are saying it's good. I mean, so if you're into Star Wars, I mean, this movie is for you. Like if you're a fan of the first 3, like this was made just for you. This was a movie made by people who grew up loving Star Wars, like J.J. Abrams. I mean, he absolutely adores Star Wars, so he did good by it.
Good job, J.J.
Good job, J.J. He's not directing the episode 8, which is nice. I like that he's like passing it on. So
no, he's not. Do we know who's doing that?
Yeah, we do. The guy who did Loopers with Bruce Willis and all that stuff. But the script is already completed and all that. It's coming out and
they're ready to roll
May of 2017. So I mean, the hype machine. I mean, choo MFer, like it ain't stopping. So Disney is they're on a mission to get your money.
Especially with this one looks to be a success already. I mean, the reviews are out, and I mean, not that like I bring up Rotten Tomatoes because they give you an easy percentage that you can digest, right?
Sure.
And I know a lot of people hate Rotten Tomatoes, but like it's just a number that you can go off of, and it's like in the high 90s or mid 90s or something now in terms of good, and so that's a good sign, right? And then the fact that it broke all these records yesterday, like it's off to a good start.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm excited.
Yeah, what was it? IMDb was also giving it really good. It's a 8.9 out of 10.
Yeah.
So, and for IMDb, that's
pretty good.
Pretty good. I mean, dude, it's Star Wars. Just go see it already. That way we can actually talk about it.
Yeah, the next episode we'll probably be talking about it. So you should probably see it before then. Not that I know when we're doing episode 100, because next week's Christmas, and then the next week after that's New Year's, and then the next week after that we're at CES. We almost could have made this a CES preview show, because like who knows when we're going to be able to. We're just going to have to do like a Tuesday show for that.
Yeah, it's possible. CES preview, I can recap in about 2 seconds. Nothing.
You can preview and recap it all in the same sentence.
Yeah. Dude, there's not going to be much. Like, I haven't seen much for like smartphones or anything. I'm even seeing what Ford or someone is announcing a car. Like, okay.
Yeah, Ford's been inviting us to things, and like.
Yeah, so.
If you thought the last like 2 or 3 CESs were garbage, expect this one to be the worst yet. Just the spoiler alert. Like it's gonna. There's Tim and I are gonna be there, and we might be drunk half. We're not gonna be drunk half the time, but like we're gonna be having fun in Vegas and utilizing that part of the trip, because there's gonna be no news.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We'll still do the regular rounds and do all the good stuff for you guys, but don't expect any like crazy announcements or anything like that. Although Samsung, I feel like, because with all this Galaxy S7 rumor stuff going on for early next year, I mean, who knows? We could see some at least information come out of it, like backdoor meetings and all that.
That's
so,
true.
So who knows? I'm sure there'll be something always comes up, but it's usually boring.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
it's good. This year's gonna be really bad. Really, really bad.
Really bad.
I mean, we'll have fun because we always have fun there, but I don't know that there's going to be that much cool news if anyone's looking for that.
Yeah. If anyone lives in Vegas, feel free to hit us up. We'll gladly drink a beer with you.
We'll probably have plenty of free time.
Plenty of time. Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Any other last words? Well, happy holidays, everyone. Next week is Christmas, so I highly doubt it'll be a short week for everyone. Hopefully, and no show next week. So.
Unless you work at Starbucks, then you got to work on Christmas. That sucks.
Yeah, that's garbage. Starbucks should be better than that. They should just pay whoever was scheduled to work that day and close the damn store. Like, totally. You know, your mom can get her coffee at home that one day. It's fine. She can brew a pot at home and not force people to work on Christmas. Just throwing that out there.
She doesn't need just regular coffee, though. She needs her caramel macchiato, non-fat, skim milk, et cetera, no foam latte.
She can go one day without it.
Yeah.
She can go one day without it. Say with the grocery stores, you can be closed on Christmas. It's okay.
Yeah.
Unless you're paying people like triple overtime and they want that cash. So I guess that's the thing. Not to like go on this like whole social argument about things being open on Christmas, but like there's like a couple arguments, right? Like it sucks people have to work. Someone's at my door. What's up?
Oh, hello, creeper.
Oh God, he's knocking. Sorry, dude. Go away. All right. Well, I guess we'll just
wrap
the show then. Yeah. I'll go on my social rants another day.
Cool.
All right. Well, happy holidays, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Episode 99 books. We're Droid Life. Peace.